I feel like it's been a long time, but it's also probably only been what, 2 weeks since we
I
last
think it's
did?
been 3 weeks.
Has it?
I don't know. Feels like maybe 2 weeks, but I think maybe 3 weeks because we recorded and then we were going to record again, and I was out,
Yeah,
and then you were out. So maybe it has only been 2 weeks, but
maybe.
I don't
Maybe
know.
it's
I
more.
was on a personal trip. You were on a work trip, so
Yes,
doing a lot of work.
I have been every other week in either San Francisco or London for the last like 2 months, and I'll be in San Francisco next week. Uh, Not
That
complaining.
can
It's just a lot all at once, you know.
no, it get yeah. You don't have to complain. I'll complain for you. It get traveling gets old pretty fast. It's a
Yeah,
lot of fun at first, and then you're like, no, I don't want to do this anymore.
yeah. But they're all like for fun things. I went to a conference in London. I think we've talked about that already. And then I've just been going to various on-sites in San Francisco for the company, and we're doing a MCP night 4 next week. So I'll be
Cool.
in town for that, and yeah, really looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
What are the turnouts for that like? I would assume pretty big since it's in San
Yeah,
Francisco.
pretty big. It's at a concert venue, I think called
Okay.
Regency Center or something like that, and it's like over 700 people.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty big.
Pretty popular topic right now, and in the middle of a tech-oriented town, so that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's funny because and like last year, around late last year, mid to late last year, I was kind of over MCP. I was like, I don't like skills. Skills is just where it's at. I just like skills. And I tell you what, I feel like MCP has just slowly become, it's like slowly having a renaissance right now.
Yeah.
And it's mainly specifically because of, for me at least, because of Claude Code. And I mean like the Claude Code desktop app. And I
Yeah.
mean because I'm on like a company managed Claude
Yeah.
Code account. So they just set up these integrations like Slack, Gong for like calls, Notion, Google Drive, Gmail, Google
Yep.
Calendar. And I think I just bleeped out of existence
You
for a
did.
second.
I was like,
Okay.
oh, I guess I'm gonna do this by myself.
Yeah, it just like all of those are just connected. And so when I want to ask something to Claude, guess what? It can reference everything, and that's
Yep.
through MCP.
Yeah, no, the MCP is definitely extremely powerful and the way to go if you're doing something for a large group of people
Mm-hmm.
slash on top of an existing service that's not just a little thing on your local machine.
Yeah. It's interesting, and it's gotten me to like reevaluate and use MCP in different places. Specifically, I've shipped one MCP since we last talked.
Oh yeah, what
And
was that? I don't think I didn't realize that. What is it?
yeah, last Friday on my flight home, I was playing with work trees. Okay, taking a full step back, I guess I'll just tell this full story real quick. I had coffee with a great guy in San Francisco last week. He spoke at a conference I emceed a couple years ago in Boston, and he happened to be in SF at the same time as me, so we grabbed coffee, and he did the best job of selling me on jujitsu than anyone else. And I have a lot of people trying to sell me on jujitsu right now. Do you know what jujitsu is?
It's a martial art where I think you roll around on the ground.
Yes. I have seen those reels where it's like, I've been waiting for this my whole life, and they get down on the ground like
Yeah.
to fight off like someone snatching a purse or something.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's not that. It's like a wrapper around, or a tool that sits alongside Git, but
Okay.
you do Git with it instead. And it like changes the paradigm of things. But also it's just Git, so you can seamlessly transition to Git if you ever want to.
Yeah.
But like it's got some interesting things, like you can pre-describe things to it. So like you never have a dirty working directory. Everything is always belonging to whatever commit you're currently on. I don't know the terminology yet, but
Okay.
you can like preset this up. So like for this time of agents, I can take like the plan and set that as the commit immediately on this. And they don't have branches. They have like, I don't know what they call them, workspaces or something. And set that, and then everything is just immediately part of that commit. Like it's automatically saved and set up or something. I don't know. And then you can like stack all of these up. It's kind of a way to do. It's kind of, I don't know what's going on.
I
I have
think this is
fiber.
restream. I feel like this is restream because that the whole restream screen bleeped out for me. It wasn't just you.
Okay. Well, you just bleeped out for me.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna blame it on you.
Okay.
So anyway, I was playing with that, and I'm like, it's cool. To make a long story short, it's cool. I don't know that it's for me right now. I don't have the mental capacity to switch my whole tool chain up, and like things that, because you're not really on branches anymore.
hmm
Tools like the GH command, like GitHub's
Yeah.
CLI, don't really work. Or maybe I mean in the all of 5 minutes that I spent on it, it did not work.
Okay.
So I didn't switch over to it. But like one of the other reasons that I was looking at it is like I'm kind of like having a I don't know, a existential crisis about the way I do work trees too, because I do it in like I have a whole blog post about it from pre-AI days. But I
Right. You
like,
go and create a work tree before you start doing your work.
yeah,
That way you have multiple things going on.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like in a bare, like a bare cloned
Correct.
repository, and then every like that folder is empty. The repository folder is empty, and then
Right.
it has folders that are the branches that I have work trees for.
Yeah. I'm
Kind of an,
interested to see what your problem is because
well,
I'm
the main,
wondering it.
yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead. Go
the
ahead.
main thing is that like I, create a new work tree, and I go in and I open up Claude or Pi or whatever, and I start doing all the work, and then I delete that, and all of the like session info is quote unquote gone. It's not really gone,
Okay. Okay.
but though they're tied to
Yes.
the physical paths
The
that you
physical
have.
path of that directory. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I was like, oh, maybe if I do something different, like set this up. Like Claude has a Claude dash dash work tree, but the problem is I'm not always using Claude either. I'm like using Pi
Yeah.
or Codex, and I'm jumping all over the place. And so I was like, oh, I wonder like what I could do. And I have been like looking at the JSON-L transcripts that these tools generate. It's like where your sessions are, like what you
Yep.
said, what the tool calls were, what it responded with. It's the whole history of everything, and those just like exist in your home directory at .claude or .py or whatever. Anyway, I kind of inadvertently started making a new work tree script, which is in my .files now. It's much better at like helping me maintain and clean up and prune work trees that are dead, and tell me like what the status of it all is. It like knows about PRs, it knows about all this. And then so that solved like a big problem I was having with work trees. I just don't know what where things are sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, but sometimes I just do things in the main work tree. Like I have a main branch checked out, and I'll just do like a quick thing in there.
Yeah.
And I never remember, did I do that in there? Did I create a work tree and then delete it? And so I also created a new tool, a new CLI tool called Sessions. And all it does is it basically, you just run sessions, and then it will pop up with basically an FCF window, and I can start typing something about the conversation that I remember, like a phrase or
Yeah.
something.
I downloaded this and use it because it's really useful.
Cool. Yeah. So it'll help you find that. And when it finds it, it'll tell you what the session was. Like, here's where it
Right.
was. And it will tell you like, oh, that no longer exists. So it'll copy a command to your clipboard to go make a directory at that location, and then open up Claude and resume that session.
Yeah.
And that works. It'll just continue the
Oh, I
session.
see. I see. Because it's not really that it was in that directory. It's just Claude references that directory, and that's how it assumes. You
Yeah.
can only really tell Claude to use that is if you were in that directory.
Yes.
Probably because you gave it the I trust this folder BS command when you started it. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all in there. And I thought, oh, that's cool. It works. I don't actually use it like that much though, in that way. Because
Interesting. Okay.
mostly I don't want to continue the conversation. I just want to recall something that we talked about, like a
Yeah.
decision we might have made or things like that. So then I like iterated on it and made it into an MCP server. So now you can run sessions dash dash MCP, and it will just start up using Hano, an MCP server, and listen for an agent to then ask it for things. And it'll like have a search tool that an agent can use. And when it starts up, it indexes all of the JSON-L files so that the search is really fast. And then it, like, every time you start it up, it checks like what new sessions have come in and indexes those. And if you've deleted any sessions, because like Claude and other tools will clean up old sessions.
Yeah.
I set mine to a year, so they won't clean up for a whole year, but it'll like prune those out of the database as well. And it's just like an SQLite database that it's creating.
Where do you, is that just a configuration in your settings.json, or where do you configure that time, how long it keeps the?
Oh yeah, in the settings.json.
Okay.
There's a an option in there. I don't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah, it does that. And so now I can just be like, hey, at some point we talked about doing this. Can you tell me what the decision was? And it will use the sessions tool. Like I can do that in Claude, and it'll use the sessions tool. And even if I talk to it in Codex or Pi, it will pull in that conversation and
really
know about it.
Freaking cool. Okay.
Yeah. So now it can.
So you're not having to manually go into any of those contexts or anything. You're just in a totally different Claude session, and you're like, hey, we did something previously in this thing. Go remind yourself what it was.
It'll do like searches for like keywords, and it'll try a bunch of different ones based on what I'm asking it.
Yeah.
Trying to find that. And then once it finds some that match, it will do like around queries where it'll like take that message and then get the ones before and after it to like pull together a picture. And that way it can like come back and be like, oh yeah, you made this decision. This is what we talked about. This is how we did it. Blah, blah, blah. And now like I have that in my new session and we can talk about it more.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to check that out because I will want to use that.
Well, there's more.
All right.
Just today, I shipped some new features to it that let you not just like go query for keywords or like do searches based on the content in there, but instead, like I want to know everything I did today. I want to talk about everything I did today or the past week or whatever.
Yeah.
And so now it can query based on that too. And it will pull in and summarize things. And on top of that, it also ships, you can run sessions setup, and it will pre-install a marketplace plugin into Claude, Codex, Cursor, and Pi, I think. I have to double check on Pi. But it will install that, and then I can just run a skill, and I can run like /weekly summary. And it will give me a summary of the past week and tell me everything I did. Here's the highlights. Here's, you had 14 sessions in Claude Code and you had 9 sessions in Codex and 1 session in Pi. And it'll do that breakdown, and it'll tell me like you were most active on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Blah, 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 and do all of that.
That's funny because I just did something similar.
Yeah.
But I did it not as well. I'll have to ask a question first. Can you aggregate a single sessions that knows about multiple machines?
No, not right now.
Okay, so I built a skill over the weekend that was essentially like, I have this work machine, I have my Mac Studio, I have my personal MacBook Pro, and I do shit across all 3 of them. And I personally want to know, like, what did I actually work on, both work and side projects over the past week. So I essentially built a skill that essentially knows how to use my Tailscale network and essentially, SSH and do shell commands and stuff to go get this similar data out of the Claude sessions that still exist on those machines. Yeah. So that's actually pretty cool. It would be cool if we can think of, I'll pull down your sessions MCP and maybe I can go work with you on it, or give you a suggestion on how there could be an aggregation server or something. I don't know. Maybe cool. That didn't make sense. But it's a problem I have just because, I do things on many different machines.
Yeah. James on LinkedIn is asking, does the past sessions MCP keep a running index, or is it all live queries? It keeps an index in SQLite. And so it can quickly reference all of the content. But then it doesn't do any caching beyond that quite yet. It is, especially for things like the weekly summary thing, like, it pulls in, it's like, oh, this is like 5,000 messages I have to go through. So it like spins off subagents to go play with it. And that's not super great. It takes forever. I would really like to figure out a way to do it. But the unfortunate thing is it's just a lot of data. And if I truncate the data in different ways. I've played with it. It just like misses fidelity, and so there's like a trade-off right now between speed and the fidelity that it can actually produce.
I'll have to go back and look at the session I did with when I built out the skill because I don't know if this is a plugin or just it's built in the cloud now, but it gives you like these insights info things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the insights things was talking about I did X, Y, and Z to minimize token usage and yada 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 when it was doing this because of all the amount of I was like, I don't care, dude. I don't care. Just build the report. But then apparently there was something that it did to that same problem, right? Because it's iterating over a ton of data. And I
Mhm.
assume it did something locally so that way it's not like I'm not going to push this to the model and let it chug through it.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I'll have to check that out. It's funny that we kind of had the same idea that as in the sense of I want because part of the challenge is and I've tried to get better about essentially having a wrap up. And I probably need to write a skill for it somehow, but it'd be cool if I could essentially if you could override the exit command to where you could run a skill that's essentially like, hey, before you actually exit, I need you to go run this skill that essentially does a wrap up of like this is what you did, this is what we decided, and stick that into like I put everything in an Obsidian vault,
Mhm.
so that way it has a memory, a running memory of high level things that were worked on.
Yeah. You could totally do that with a hook,
Yeah. Okay,
but
so
it
they
would
do
be
have hooks.
slow. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
hooks for that. It would be
I
slow because it would like it'd take a solid minute to do that
I
summary and
don't
all of
care if
that.
I'm running exit. Like if I hit exit and I either walk away or I'm switching to a different team up session or something to go look at something else, then I would be okay with that. But
Yeah,
that's cool to know that there's a hook out there. I didn't even think to look.
I assume there is
There
for that.
probably is.
Yeah.
I've already overridden the command. Well, not just the alias, but the command to actually launch Claude on my work machine because uh, I have a fish function that essentially builds out a bunch of environment variables, and then also makes sure that it does a AWS SSO login because I use Bedrock on my local machine,
Mm,
and all my other machines I don't use Bedrock. But the Bedrock configuration is in the settings.json, and apparently they don't care about settings.local.json anymore. So I can't on the local machine that cares about Bedrock put a settings.local.json. So I kept fighting myself and going. I'd get on my personal machine and forget that I just blindly said, "Oh, I made changes to my dot files, just push them up."
yeah.
And then I'd get on my local machine and be like, yeah, I can't log in because it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to end up writing a local fish function that's not in Git to essentially wrap me calling Claude to set all the stupid environment variables. I don't
Uh,
that seems overly complicated, but it seems to be the only way to fix it for now.
yeah. Hmm. Another comment from James. Afterturn could push over UDS to the sessions daemon. That's a good idea. I'm gonna look into that. Could just like keep a running index, and then I can use a database instead of having to like search through all that text,
Yep.
like as text files.
What is after turn?
A hook.
Oh, is it okay? So I just haven't looked at the life cycle of Claude. It sounds like there's a ton of hooks in there that you can just hook into.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
I do it a little bit with like keeping track of what's running for my Tmux UI. I have like little
Yeah.
symbols that show up telling me like, oh, it's asking for something's waiting on you. This is done. These are all idle.
Oh, you must have updated your config. I'm gonna have to go look at it and update my config because my config is your config. At least for that.
Yeah.
I have sat down with Claude and built a few things on my own that were like, I like this better, but yeah. What else have you? I know that you mentioned before that you built a handful of CLIs. I knew there was the sessions one.
Yeah. Another one. I don't think I've shipped it, but I built one. I'll just briefly mention it called WF or Web Fetch, and I just wanted a way to quickly see what Claude sees at a high level, and it does it in a couple of different ways. And it's not 100% exact, which is why I haven't shipped it. But I noticed, for example, that my website doesn't properly get sent to Claude, like in some of the pages. And so I wanted
Really?
to be able to debug why and figure out what Claude's seeing.
Hmm.
Um,
What I'm interested because I know a lot of sites are like, yeah, you're a crawler, get out of here. I don't want you're not getting any of this information.
yeah, um, various reasons.
Hmm.
Honestly, that one might be because I don't know. I have to double check that. I think the page I was actually testing it on has like a disallow robots thing on it, and
Yeah,
maybe it's restricting that. So that's kind of funny.
probably.
Yeah. But another tool that I've been playing with and built, because I've been thinking a lot about like, where the bottlenecks are for me. And I've been playing with like building my own harness with case, and I think we've talked about that before. And building like um, what else? Like
Wow.
bottleneck for different things. And so I built a tool and started playing with it. Looking at was code reviews. And so code review feels like the bottleneck right now because we're shipping so much code and I'm so not connected to the code in a lot of ways. Especially if like someone's asking me to review a PR and, I'm effectively doing like a drive-by PR
Right.
review. And that's not great. So I want to like have a way to become more familiar in a fast way. And for me, I just need some hand holding. And so I built a tool called Dad that you can play with, and it will just basically tell you a story about the PR that you're reviewing.
Yep.
And then that way it's like much easier to work with, to understand, and it will do things like reframe the diffs instead of just showing you like here's what changed in this file and then here's what changed in this file. It's like here's the story I'm telling, here's chapter 1, and in chapter 1 this little hunk from this from this file and this little hunk from this file go together to tell that story. And
Mm-hmm.
then chapter 2 it might bring back that same hunk and say like, but tell it like reframe it to tell another part of the story. And it's pretty cool. I didn't actually bring up like a diff that I could.
So while you're bringing that up, let me ask.
Yeah.
This is generating an after the fact story, right? So this is not like you're in the session and you're saying you're this is, LLM outside of the session essentially trying to put together a story around the diffs of what happened and not necessarily I'm in context and I told Claude or my tool to produce a dad description of what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, sorry, say that again.
So when you run dad, it's not like it's looking at any kind of context that was running when you were making the changes, because this is really for any kind of I guess the consumer of the PR, not the producer of the PR, is the one who's running dad. So they don't have the context of what the changes were made and why they were made. So
Yeah,
your tool is literally trying to build out that context and then write a story around it, right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I took this diff on Dad itself that adds some diff improvements and things like that. This is an open PR that I have. It's 1,800 lines of code. And so it's kind of a lot to go through. And I'll just show an example. So it's a command line tool, and I just ran Dad and then pasted in a link to this diff or to this
Okay.
PR. I'm not showing that, but that's okay. All of the goodness of Dad is in the browser. So it immediately kicks off a browser, and it's just running locally
Yeah.
on your machine. And it's using, if you have an Anthropic like API key, it's using that. If
Using
you
that.
don't,
Yeah.
it's just using Claude.
Okay.
And it's using Claude-P, which
Yeah.
I didn't realize is
We'll
built
still
differently.
we'll still be like charging you as if it were your API key. That's
Yeah.
something we'll talk about later.
Yeah, we should talk about that. But it's bringing up here, and it's like reformatting it. So I can see that it's already generated like 15,000 characters in this story. This is a big PR. I should have done a smaller one. But that's okay. This will tell like a lot. Here it is. So it popped in, and it immediately tells me that this is a risky one. Like, be careful. And it tells me it's fully locked into GitHub. So it's got like all of these events that are going through it. So it's constantly keeping up with what's going on GitHub.
Yep.
And it knows like, here's the CI. All of the checks have passed on this. And this is risky and this is why it's risky. And then it tells me like a reading plan, which is kind of dumb. I might remove this because it's literally like read it in order.
Yeah. It's not a choose your own adventure style.
Yeah. But one cool thing, and I need to reevaluate this, is it like tells you things to check. And so these are like comments that it might suggest to me to go add, right? Like, this regex. The problem is like it's not in line, so I don't feel like these are very useful because it's not like, I haven't even looked at cache.ts yet,
right?
And it's telling me about something. But one cool thing is like I can comment, and so I can just push that, and it'll like give me that as like the bones of it.
Yeah.
And I can just say post comment. And now if I go down in and find like cache.ts here, that comment is now here.
Is there.
But also if I go to GitHub, that comment is now there on that line.
Right.
And so it does bidirectional syncing. If any comments come in on GitHub itself from like other reviewers, they'll immediately show up in here. And you can do everything that you can do on GitHub. So like I can select like, a section of lines and then write a comment specifically about these lines, and they'll be tied to that. I can do the whole review thing. And so you can like build up a review in the same way. You can comment on just like a single line at a time. And on chapters themselves, you can comment, I think, or maybe I removed that. No, you can comment on the chapter right here. You can also like, ask it to be more terse or more verbose and ask it to re-narrate. And you can ask it questions about the chapter right in there, and it'll just send that to your local Claude or
cool.
Codex or whatever. So you can have like a conversation with Dad about this, and it has everything. It's also fully aware of like, it tells you like, oh, this is a high risk. Chapters 1 and 2 are high risk ones that you want to review. You can like check them. You can mark them as reviewed and do all of that. And it'll like keep track of it. It'll also like, I can't submit a review on my own, but if I go and approve it, it'll like have confetti going and it'll say, I'm proud of you, champ, because it's a dad helping you.
Yeah.
And then down at the bottom, it will also tell you like all of the commits, what's specifically not in this PR, what they're not covering and what they might want to. But more importantly, like as new things come in, it will reevaluate and retell the story. And it will look at the history of what happened, even if they're like pushing new commits or if they're like rebasing and squashing commits or force pushing. You can actually go to this recap tab, and Dad is going to analyze all of that and tell you the story of how we got to here, which I might combine into the main thing, because like the thing that's really cool about this view in it is like one of my suggestions for this might be like, oh, did you try this approach? This would tell me if they tried that
approach, they tried it,
and why they landed on the approach that they actually like sent to me for review. And so yeah, it's like a whole thing separate. I wanted it to be separate from GitHub just so I could control it more, but it's all running locally. It doesn't send anything to me or to anyone. You can click on it to like, navigate straight over to GitHub, and everything is bidirectionally synced. You can set like all sorts of different themes. You can change to a light mode, and here's that, here's the goal of it. Here's what's done and what's kind of been work in progress on it, and what we haven't really done yet on it. And it's kind of just like guessing on that based on the commits and the history of the commits.
Yeah.
But then it kind of tells me some of the decisions that look to have been made in this PR, and where we're getting stuck on things.
That's cool.
Yeah. Tells like a whole story. Tries to be as helpful as possible. And one thing that I'm working on with it is like this is running Dad review, and on the PR, I'm also working on like a Dad watch, so that as I'm working on code myself, it can be narrating what we're doing. And so the idea there is like it's Dad preparing you for the real world of a PR review, and kind of helping you along the way. So I really leaned into it. You also can't see it, but like in the CLI, it tells you like while it's generating things, it tells you like a whole bunch of dad jokes, and it just like, it said, "Hi diff, I'm Dad," and then I'm reading this diff, so you don't have to. You're welcome. And it'll say things like, "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed." Like,
I think you're gonna have to add some personality configuration. Some people might want an abusive dad.
yeah, I'm not going there.
A little more firm hand to be a little more direct. But no, this is awesome, dude.
Yeah. And when you close the tab, it'll wait 30 seconds and then it'll kill the CLI. So you don't
That's
have to
cool.
go clean that up either. I had it doing it immediately and I realized if I refreshed, it was like killing the CLI. And so I give it a
Yeah,
30-second cooldown.
this is awesome. I have not played with this one yet, but I definitely want to, mostly because I've been working either on my own stuff or stuff that isn't really going through the review process. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that makes sense. But if you get around to it, it's on Homebrew. You can just copy this command and install it. It's all written in Bun and ships as like a Bun binary,
yeah,
which is really cool and easy. And this site, it looks like I put a lot of work into this. This is me playing with Claude Design,
yeah,
and it just like it's really cool.
yeah. We were talking about this earlier. I suck at Claude design. I don't know how, but apparently I'm not type things well enough for Claude design to not make a puke colored in that.
Yeah.
Um, I built a small tool. I don't have it set up right now to demo, but it is another Obsidian plugin. I don't know if I'll publish it. I might, um, but essentially, the project I'm working on at work currently is really a data migration project where it's a code base that once the migration is done, nobody cares about it. So there's not a lot of love on the code side, but essentially I'm producing all of these CSV files that then get pushed up to a provider that we're using, um, so they can essentially take that data and migrate it into their system.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a slightly tedious process to where I do this work and then I push it up, and then maybe 40 minutes later I get an answer to, did I break something or was it okay? There are some schemas that I can follow that I can do a little bit of validation on. So, and then it's also accessing a database that I'm not 100% familiar with, right? So I get what I've done is I have this this data directory of CSVs. Um, if you haven't used DuckDB, you should use DuckDB because it's just an amazing tool. I can essentially run DuckDB on that directory and then query those CSVs as if it were a Postgres database. It's amazing. But I wanted to be able to understand the data relationship on these CSVs I was sending, because one of the things that could cause the migration to fail is this foreign key reference isn't actually pointing to a valid thing. Like, it doesn't exist in the parent table that it's pointing to. So I needed to understand the relationships. So obviously, that's something that Claude can do a very good job of, but I like it to produce Obsidian notes. And specifically, I was like, I want you to produce an Obsidian note just going over the pros of the pros description of how these entities relate and why and etc. But I also want you to draw a diagram. So I wanted to draw a canvas diagram. So then I have this canvas diagram and et cetera. And then, of course, I have coworkers who are like, well, I show it to them and they're like, okay, that's cool. I want to understand it better, but they don't use Obsidian. So there are some export tools for Canvas in Obsidian, but I didn't find one that I really liked. So I wrote a new tool that's gonna export Canvas to JS, not JS, sorry, export it to HTML, but have enough JS wrapped around it where it's like an interactive canvas. You can move things around just like you can in an Obsidian, etc. You can zoom in, zoom out, all that stuff. And then I also wanted to be able to export to Excalidraw with an Obsidian. So I've got that working. I don't know why I did that one. I haven't used that one that much, but so yeah, I think it's called right now. It's just called Canvas Tools. I think I'm going to build up a bunch of stuff around it and probably publish it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I never would have built that if I weren't using AI because honestly, it's slightly a waste of time. But it's super useful. Like I can just send somebody a .html file and they have the exact same diagrams that I'm screen sharing with them and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
that is awesome. And I just love that's one of the best things about AI right now for me is like, yeah, scratching my own itch on these tools that I would never build.
Yes,
Never waste
yes.
time on.
We had a big all hands at Arbel yesterday, and one of the things I chatted, I didn't say just because there were so many people and people were talking, but I was like, I honestly do feel 30 years younger because of this, only because I'm doing stuff that I would not do now, like, but I would have done when I was 20, just because I had infinite energy, no kids, zero family, other than my wife, who would constantly see me sitting on a computer and knew that was what was going to happen anyways. But yeah, I can just do all these things and not, it's a bunch of tedious stuff that I'll be like, oh, that would be cool, but yeah, do I really want to spend time, building infrastructure and doing all this stuff for that? So yeah, no, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That said, I will say that I have started running into my Claude limits quite frequently now, which didn't used to
Really?
happen. So I'm
Has
wondering kind of
has,
what's going on there.
has that
And
changed in the last week?
I don't I don't think so, and it's probably been the last couple of weeks. Either I'm using it more. I also think maybe I think I've probably been like using um the extra high setting or something more than I should. And I always just stick with Opus 4.7 at this point. Like I don't switch down unless it's doing it itself via code reviews.
Mm-hmm.
But the main reason why I want to bring this up is because essentially Claude is once again changing what you get in the plans that you pay for. I don't know if you saw the news about that. Did you see what they changed?
I did, but I think there's multiple things in
Yeah.
there. Like you shouldn't be hitting those limits as much because of the deal with SpaceX.
Right. That's supposed to. I'm still unclear to me if that's becoming. When I say limit, I don't mean I'm getting rate limited. I mean my allotment for the 5 hours.
Yeah.
I've used it up,
I
and
thought
I'm
that
on
should have
API, and I'm now on API billing.
I thought that should have doubled but I
I
could be wrong.
don't. I didn't get I didn't get the gist from that. I thought it just meant like, hey, you're not going to get the API is having troubles type of problems anymore. But I might have misunderstood. Was there something that said that they were going to start giving people more for their money? Because honestly, the announcement I said saw that you were going to get less for your money. At least that's the gist I took from it. And what I
First,
mean by
we're
that,
doubling Claude Code's 5-hour rate limits for Pro, Max, Team, and seat-based enterprise plans.
oh wow, so I've been
Second, we're
really
removing peak hour limit reduction on Claude Code for Pro and Max.
Hmm.
Third, we're raising our API rate limits considerably for Claude Opus. So, yeah, you should be getting double. now.
well. I definitely ran out last night and started going into API billing, which it's kind of
yeah.
surprising.
Were you doing Claude Design?
I was not.
Okay, because that eats thing.
Yes, it
becomes
does.
like crazy.
But it tells me it's a different thing
It
than
is.
my Max. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, that's fine.
They are also doing 50% higher 7-day limits through July 13th or something like that. And then there's the other change that they talked about this week, which seems like initially I posted it in like our work chat and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is awesome. And yeah, Amy says maybe you're referring to the interactive token usage. I think that's it.
Yeah,
If it's
the piece.
like the API design stuff, or API and like Claude-P, which I didn't know was billed differently. That is like, I thought it was going to be like a good thing. Like, oh, you get so much API stuff. And like, this is something that I'm really struggling
It's a
with
bad
that.
thing.
Yeah. It's like a terrible thing. I actually watched, Oh
Oh,
god.
maybe you're gonna say who are you gonna say? Because it might be the same person I was gonna say.
Theo. I watched Theo's video on it.
No, it absolutely was not the same person. Oh, man, I've gotta go find, I had this all lined up and now it's gone. Where I forgot the name of the person. You probably know the person's name off the top of your head, Nick. Popular TypeScript person
Matt
does
Pocock.
yes, yes, that's it. So he had a great video on his take, and,
Yeah.
the way he described it was, if you continue to use human in the loop tools, then yeah, you're getting the benefits of everything going up.
Hmm.
Uh, if you use things that are not human in the loop, like Claude-P or the Agent SDK, et cetera, those will no longer go against your max plan. They will go against the credits they are giving you to for the API, which they will burn through very quickly.
Yeah.
I all I care about is that my beloved Tidewave will continue to work without me having to pay API usage because that is still a human in the loop tool. So
Yeah. I'm annoyed.
yeah, I think a lot of people are. I mean it's just it fits the narrative that I feel like you know that makes sense to me, which is they have subsidized this so much and it will not last forever. Like there's no way they're going to be able to continue the pricing that they had, and it's going to slowly tick up. And again, it comes back to that. Like, if you're building, honestly, I think I'm building a code base that if I didn't have Cloud, I'd be like, oh my god, I don't want to, don't want to have to maintain this.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, but on the other note, like at work, I use Bedrock. I never cared. I never even think about looking at usage. It just works. But I'm not paying for it. So, well,
Yeah.
I'm paying for it through my, care of the company, et cetera. But yeah, the pricing on that is not been bad. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that falls out, though.
Yes, it will. I don't know. I don't know. It feels way less useful now. I have just succumbed to paying for API things on occasion. Like I'm running a Hermes bot now, and instead of OpenClaw,
Yeah,
and it's using Sonnet through the API billing.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I guess I will get $100 credit for that every month, which is decent, but it's not. It still feels like a loss.
yeah. It does feel like they're trying to crack down more on the people running the personal OpenClaw bots, even though I don't know. I still can't tell if that's a hugely popular thing or not. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Have you played with the new goal command that they have?
Not in Claude. I played with it in Codex, and it was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
So give me a use case of how you used it.
I'll tell you
The one that
exactly
they
what I
have.
did.
Sorry, I will say the one that Claude had for the goal
Yeah.
was it to me it was a bad choice. It was like, hey, I have these tests. I need you to get them passing, and it's like that seems so bad because it could literally go, okay, well, I just made the test pass.
Hmm. Tests can't fail if they're gone. So
If they're not there, or if I just say return true, or I don't know.
yeah.
Anyways, how did you use it?
Probably not in the right way, but it did successfully do it. So I was pretty happy with it. And that is like just to step back, goal is like it's kind of like a built-in Ralph loop type thing where you give
Yeah,
it a goal, you say slash goal, and you tell it something to do, and it will work with as minimal of interruption to itself, like as minimal asking questions to you as possible, so that it can just get it done. So the more explicitly clear the goal is, the better. In my case, it was pretty clear, I think. Last week when I was in SF, I saw a post go by that Remix 3 beta was out. So they rewrote Remix. It's no longer React, has 100% less React in it now. And I was interested in it. And we have a Remix SDK for WorkOS, for AuthKit. And we have much newer ones too, for like Next.js is our most popular, but we also have like a TanStack Start one and a SvelteKit one, and um, those are all built on like this like layer that I put together called AuthKit Session. That's like a agnostic way to do as much as possible, and then just have bindings for the specific frameworks. And so I opened Codex. You have to like go enable it, or last week you had to go enable it specially. And then it gives you like a bunch of warnings about using it. And then I just said /goal, and I said, here's this AuthKit session thing, and here's the TanStack Start SDK. Here's the docs to Remix 3 of their new beta. I want you to build an SDK that is 100%, like has 100% of the features that the TanStack Start one has. And that one also includes like an example app in like the PNPM workspace. So I want you to build an example app using Remix 3 to showcase the that the SDK works flawlessly end to end. And it said, okay. And I left my computer running for a bit. I actually, where is it? Oh, here. I have this thing that I plug into my computer, and it pretends to be a monitor so that I can close my laptop, and it stays going. You can also do it through amphetamine, which I also have running, but I like being able to just pull this out if I want to.
Yeah.
And so I came back, and it told me like I ran for an hour and 3 minutes, and I successfully completed my goal. And I said, sure you have. And I went and checked, and sure it did. It's pretty cool.
So were you that vague in the goal?
It was like 3 sentences. I pointed it at 2 code bases, or 2 code bases, and the docs site for Remix, and just said, go.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was very in that way, it was very well defined, because like the SDK has a set of functionality, and the example app like has these 3 pages that it creates that has all of this functionality in each page. And it knew exactly what it had to do.
I wonder what it would do if I'm going to do it right now. Well, see if we can get it to tell me what it was going to do. Oh, stupid thing. There we go. Let's see. Goal. Get me $1 million. Let me see what it says. Let's see what it does. It's boring. Anyways, I wonder how much. Oh my God, it's literally trying to do stuff.
You should share your screen.
Yeah, let me hold on. Come on, share. Where's that window? Oh my gosh, the sharing. Why is this sharing thing so horrible?
Because it's in Chrome.
Yeah. Run weekly, right? No, that's not it. What the? Is it? Oh, maybe it is share. God. Okay.
Oh, you did. Yeah. Now I have to enable it. There we go.
Okay, I was wondering.
Is it? Can you zoom in?
Yeah. Well, let's see if I can zoom in. So here's what it said to start. Wait, where did it start? Nope. Where did it start? Oh, here we go. Goal acknowledged. Get you 1 million. Constraints worth being honest about up front. I can't actually move money, sign contracts, run trades, or send invoices from this session. Build the artifact that gets you there. Interesting. All right. So yeah, it's going to try and get me $1 million. I don't know. Oh my God. I'll let you know what the outcome. Like how is it going to end itself?
You're not going to tell anybody, but there will be signs.
You won't. Keep going. Tell me what lane to it. Oh, okay. It hit a point where it's like, hey, I really can't reach this goal without your interaction. I'm going to tell it to stop. Let's just stop.
Hey, at least it's honest.
Yeah. Surprising. What else? One other thing that I saw that I thought was interesting, and I think is going to be a huge business, is the Anthropic working with other companies to essentially start sending engineers to enterprise companies.
The forward deployed engineer.
Correct.
Yes, everyone is doing it. It's so hot right now.
I mean, I've worked in enterprise. I've worked selling to enterprises. I know what they want.
Yeah.
I can help them struggle to get AI off the ground because they're such behemoths with horrible security infrastructure requirements. Yeah, that would be a very interesting job depending on where you went. It could be something that could be fun, or it could be just an absolute nightmare.
I would imagine that it's mostly a nightmare. Oh, wait,
Yeah,
you want us to install what? Claude?
yeah.
No, we can't
Man,
do that.
I will say, depending on if the you have to assume at this point that the enterprise has some kind of cloud infrastructure.
Hmm.
I mean, if they have AWS, then there's a very clear path, right? AWS Bedrock is great. I mean, it allows you to essentially do a ton of things with a bunch of different models, in a secure environment where data that you care about and your customers care about is not going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And that's great. So if they have that, if the enterprise has that ability, then there's an easy path forward. But man, this would be interesting. That would be a very interesting. It'd be interesting to get feedback from somebody who's gone into a company that was just like so far behind that it's like you've barely gotten into the cloud at this point, and you're wanting to. You're how many companies are going to skip the landline and go straight to the cell phone,
Yeah. Yeah.
or skip computers and just have mobile computing? Anyways, I
It's
thought that was an interesting one.
it is. Yeah, it's probably a lucrative job in an easy way, or not an easy way, but a very good way if you're really good with these tools to get into an Anthropic or an OpenAI or wherever to be this forward deployed consultant.
Right. I'm surprised that wasn't what the goal came back with. Just be a forward deployed AI engineer at an enterprise. But anyways,
I wish it would have told you, like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna rob this bank. There.
it does have I will send you what it sent me later, but it
Okay.
has some very like I'm trying to see, it essentially like is writing not a resume, but a why me set of bullet points on that I should be sending to people. So yeah.
You should just blindly send it to like your management at your company. Listen, this is why
Yeah,
I need $1
exactly.
million.
What else is going on? I mean, obviously it's been a couple of weeks. It's not like there's been a lot of huge releases or anything. It's been relatively quiet.
Yeah. I've become more of a Devin fan in the last couple of weeks.
That's right. I forgot you guys were testing that out, and
Yeah.
and that's just a true like separate system, like its own hardware in the cloud.
Hmm.
It's a true developer. You hand it off, and it can do
Yep.
above and beyond.
It's in Slack. You can just
Yeah.
ask it to go do things and it'll go do it and get back to you if it needs to open a pull request. Like it knows about the whole org and everything. It's really cool. It also does like reviews, which is the biggest way I've been using it. And we have all of these code review bots. We're like testing a bunch right now, and like we keep voting ones
What
off
are the
the
ones
island.
like TaskRabbit, and is that
Code
one of them?
Rabbit,
CodeRabbit.
Greptile, Cursor reviews. I don't know what they're called, and Devin review, and maybe one more. And so like right now it's like CodeRabbit and Greptile will go, and they'll put a whole bunch of comments on there, and like it gets so noisy because they're just each putting like 10 comments on there, and I'm just like, do these matter? And
Right.
so I've just been like telling Devin to handle it, and Devin will go and like respond to them and be like, this one actually doesn't matter for this reason, and oh, good call, I'll fix this, and it'll go fix
Yeah.
it and update that. And so like it's kind of fun to just like let it go, let these 3 bots settle things.
Right.
And then when they're all settled, then I'll come in and actually care about this. And so that's kind of interesting. You can also run like CodeRabbit locally, so that you, or like you have a CLI for that, so you can like pre get reviews
Yeah.
before you actually push it, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I kind of like it for that. I like the idea of putting it all like having this agent that you can go do. I think
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, like it still can make a lot of sense to build your own harness like that, because Devin is very like generic um, in terms of like what it does and what it is set up to like do evidence-based stuff. So it'll try and like record videos of what it fixed, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I still think that like if you know what you want and know your environment, you can do it better. But it does take work and maintenance and all of that too.
Right.
Yeah. We also like had one of the co-founders of Cognition, which is the company behind Devin, like come into our office when I was there a couple weeks ago, and he said something like now is the time for like we've been in Minecraft survival mode, and now it's time for Minecraft creative mode. And in a lot of ways, this AI revolution feels like that. Like we're starting to get into creative mode where you can just go make this tool. And does it cost you anything? Did you have to go mine all of the resources to do it, or the knowledge to do it? No, you just describe what you want and build.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. And it's a lot of fun. I also think that's an incredibly boring way to play Minecraft, but I always play survival, vanilla survival.
I haven't played Minecraft in forever. I'm more of a Terraria fan.
I didn't know this about you. We can't talk anymore.
You know, I do obviously, you know, the code review process on the side project is Claude code reviews, Copilot code reviews, and then I have Claude deal with the Copilot code reviews.
Mm-hmm.
The longest time, I was literally copying the Copilot information and pasting it into the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, "Why am I doing this?" And finally, I was just like, "Hey, there's freaking Copilot comments on this PR. Go deal with them." So I do that now. I wonder if it'd be cool if I could use Gold, because I need a Nick MCP server that I can hit. That's like, hey, there's this PR, and it knows what to do. So we can work on that.
Well, the first problem that you have is I don't know Elixir for this project. So
Yeah, but all you do is turn on your Copilot to do it.
Yeah. I guess I can do that.
Cool. I mean, I think we've covered everything. I don't remember. Was there anything else that you wanted to chat about this week?
You know, I also did another thing. I put together like a website that weekly gets updated that just shows everything I did with AI.
Mm-hmm.
And so it like it does a very poor job of like counting tokens and trying to like estimate how much I paid in AI usage over the time period.
You're not showing your token maxing off well enough.
I am. No, did I already show you this?
No.
Oh.
Like you said, it wasn't counting your tokens well. So you got to make sure you get every single token counted, Nick.
The project is called token maxing. So that's why I was like, wait, did we talk about this? But it definitely does a good job of, or I don't know. I don't know if that it's accurate, but the accurate thing that it does, which is pretty cool, is it will just round up all of the PRs that I opened in a week.
Yeah.
And then write a short summary of like the work that I did for that week. And so I just have that, and it's published, and people can get to it. Yeah, it's really cool. It's fun. It's useful, very useful for review season and things like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what just even being able to reflect on, have I been intentional or have I been reactive? Having that type of stuff is awesome.
Yeah. That's true. So yeah, it's something that I've been playing with, and I like it. I don't know. You can just build things, John.
Exactly. Cool. So we won't be recording next week because you'll be traveling.
Yes, I will be traveling again.
And then so we can no, because guess what I'll be doing the week after that.
Not traveling, I bet.
I will be traveling. So yeah, this is another 2 weeks where you'll be traveling and then I'll be traveling.
Awesome.
So we'll have to probably not until first week of June.
Yeah.
That sucks. Oh well.
Can't believe we're already to June. That's crazy.
Time flies, man. Time flies.
Yeah.
All right, dude. It was good chatting with you.
Yeah, you too. I will
Yep.
catch you later.